And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben, and this is my review for Michael Bay's new film, Ambulance. Let me know in the comments below, have you heard of this one? Were you excited? Is this one you're going to venture out to go into the cinema for? I'll let you know if you maybe you should. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it really does help with the analytics. Let's talk about it. Quick story time. One time I was at a press conference and we were recording the press conference because Michael Bay was doing one of his press conferences for the Transformers movie, and one of my friends asked, Michael Bay, is there anything left in the world that you'd like to blow up? And he shifted nervously in his seat.
Anything left on Earth, like landmarks that you still like to blow up?
And ever since then, I've looked for what Michael Bay is going to blow up next. When it comes to a Michael Bay film, I expect a couple of things. A pretty lady that looks like Megan Fox. Check, we've got that. Explosions that look like fireworks, like big sparklers that go up into one direction. Check. A hell of a lot of explosions. Check, check. And something that looks like a transformer, and I kept thinking the ambulance was going to transform. And then highly saturated color cinematography that makes them look pretty but also very vibrant, like dark, not dark colors but bright dark colors. You'll know what I mean. You get that orange glows, those greens, those kind of colors that pop out that look very cinematic. Slow motion moments, and then people that are really serious about what they're doing. And that basically is a Michael Bay film. Now you take that, you add Jake Gyllenhaal, you add a score by Lorne Balfe, and you have this brother and brother combination. One's a Marine, one's not, with father issues, and that what you have there is already a boiling pot for things that are going to go boom, and it's going to be a pretty tense film. But then you have the storyline of a bank robbery gone wrong. You put them in an ambulance, you have something go wrong in the ambulance, and people in the back, it's kind of like a massively long car chase, gun battle, Heat style. And I think most people will be like, well, that sounds pretty good. That sounds quite fun. And for the most part, it is really. It's a really intense ride, basically, from A to B. Once we get that beginning opening sequence of things going wrong, we're setting up the story of kind of what's happening. Really, then it's the journey of the story being revealed through action sequences whilst driving the ambulance and things that go wrong in there. And that all is really tense. But the way it's filmed is classic Transformers filming. There's a lot of fast pacing, cutting, editing, a hell of a lot on some sequences. I just wanted them to stay on some of the shots long enough for me to see what was going on. It's not as bad as the Transformers movies because you do kind of see what's going on in places, but there are other times you could count maybe 25 cuts in a minute. Well, more than that, 50 cuts in a minute. It just depends. Maybe it wasn't that much, but it just felt like that much. So I was invested in the characters, but the thing with the story is by the time I got to the end, I didn't know if it's a film that has any reason to exist. It's a film that the outcome for me was meh. I didn't understand that what was necessary about this film. What was the story that we're trying to tell? I guess the moral of the story is don't rob banks. And I think most people would know that. I guess it doesn't really need to have a marvelous story. I just wanted something different from the ending. I wanted something more. At the end of the day, what it ended up being is well choreographed, massive car chase sequences, big explosions, high octane action, some quirky dialogue. Sometimes you get some of those comedy moments that elevates the mood because it's been serious for a long time, but you don't get a lot of that. And then you get those intense disbelievability moments where you have to put that to a side and go, okay, that quite wouldn't happen, but this is a Hollywood action movie with Michael Bay directing, right? So you know what you're in for the most part. And then the score kicks in, and Lorne always does a fantastic job with these scores. Normally, there are some films I'd be like, the film was okay, but the score was great. And this is definitely one of those. I think the score was great, and the film, I know a lot of people are giving this like 4s out of 5s, and I'm just not there with it. Love Jake Gyllenhaal pretty much in everything. I do think the best thing about the film is the people inside the ambulance, and thankfully that's most of the film. You get a few characters along the wayside which you kind of care about, but mostly you care about the relationships that are going inside. So it's the brother and brother dynamic, it's the paramedic Cam, their relationship, and so as things unfold, you start seeing the relationships start to crumble, start to break down as the intensity gears up. You hit that last crescendo of the third act where the action is ramped up even more, gun battles, explosions, cars flipping. And talking about cars flipping, there's one scene that was so obviously staged to be a stunt. There's like a little bit of crumbling brick on one side of the car and another crumbling brick on the other side of the car, and these two cars literally go boom and fall over in slow motion and explode, and you're like, okay, that was a stunt for a stunt steak. And I like good stunts, but there's so much of it. I don't know that I would have wanted anything else like to detract from the story, go elsewhere within the story, because that's not what this film is. It's about the characters surviving and who you're rooting for. The thing is, I really didn't know who to root for, because a lot of the cops seem like douchebags, but at the same time you understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. And the guys in the ambulance, you're rooting for them, but you're also like, you kind of made your bed, you gotta live with the consequences now. Your highs and lows, if you mark the excitement of your adrenaline or your heartbeat while you're watching it, if you're holding your breath, and you can literally see you probably doing this in the film, even though it's intense at this level for most of the film. So I'm going to give this 3 out of 5 Nicolas Cages. Let me know your thoughts down below, if you've seen it, what you thought of it, compared to the other Michael Bay films. Thanks so much for watching this, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long on Tuesday.